This is the tragic story of a Brazilian beauty queen who was killed by her jealous ex-boyfriend. Today we'll dive into the devastating story about a young woman named Kimberly Mota de Oliveira, who was born on February 26, 1998, in Manacory, a small town of 55,000 inhabitants located in the state of Amazonas in Brazil. Kimberly grew up in a modest family with her mother, Nayla, and her two brothers. Like many young Brazilian girls, Kimberly dreamed of becoming a model and loved beauty contests. In Latin America, these contests are very popular and can serve as a social elevator for young, pretty girls. Kimberly's mother had even been crowned beauty queen when she was younger. However, Kimberly had another dream. She wanted to become a dentist. She was a very studious girl and an excellent student. Unfortunately, Kimberly met the wrong person one evening at a club, and her promising future was cut short. Kimberly began nursing studies after obtaining the equivalent of a high school diploma, but later switched to dental medicine. She achieved excellent results and received a full scholarship to study at the University of Manaus. To pursue her studies, Kimberly had to leave her family home and move to the capital of the state of Amazonas, the third largest city in the country with over 2 million inhabitants. Fortunately, her mother and a brother who lived there were able to welcome Kimberly and provide her with a place to stay during her studies. In addition to being a beautiful young woman with the ideal profile to become a beauty queen, Kimberly was also very kind, gentle, and helpful. She was very popular with people who knew her, and in 2019, at the age of 21, one of her friends entered her in the Miss Manacory pageant in her hometown. Kimberly won the competition and went on to participate in the Miss Amazonas contest, which was the last step before the Miss Brazil competition. Unfortunately, Kimberly did not win the contest but finished in 6th place. Determined to try again, Kimberly vowed to compete in beauty competitions again the following year. Kimberly's participation in these competitions opened certain doors for her modeling career. Like many young people today, she was active on social media and regularly updated her Instagram account. Despite her modeling success, Kimberly remained serious and responsible, and she continued to dream of becoming a dentist and opening her own dental practice. Kimberly was a 22-year-old Brazilian woman from a small town in the state of Amazonas. She was a beautiful and brilliant young woman who dreamed of participating in the national dental student elections. She had a bright future ahead of her, but unfortunately, one evening at a club, she met a man named Rafael Fernandez Rodriguez, who was 10 years older than Kimberly and worked as an analyst at the Regional Court of Work in São Bernardo do Campo. He had recently been promoted and moved to Manaus, the largest city in the state of Amazonas, in 2017. Rafael was already divorced when he met Kimberly. Although Rafael fell immediately in love with Kimberly, she did not consider him a potential boyfriend at first. However, she enjoyed spending time with him and agreed to give him her phone number at the end of the night at the club. Over the following days, Rafael courted Kimberly with gifts and invitations to go out. He seemed charming and successful, with a good job, a nice apartment in a great building, and a high-end car. Rafael gradually seduced Kimberly and they eventually began a romantic relationship together. However, Kimberly quickly realized that Rafael had a completely different side to him. He was very jealous and controlling and did not like it when other men approached her. He frequently displayed jealousy, demanding to know where she was going and who she was seeing, and attempted to prevent her from speaking to other people. Despite these red flags, Kimberly continued to be with Rafael in the hopes that he would change. Despite her initial attraction to Rafael, Kimberly quickly realized that he was extremely controlling and jealous, and his behavior began to weigh on her. After only 2 months of dating, Kimberly began to have doubts about the relationship and confided in her friends and mother about her concerns. To make matters worse, Kimberly introduced Rafael to her uncle and mother, who both saw him as a serious and responsible man and had high hopes for the relationship. Kimberly, who had only known him for a short time, did not share Rafael's attachment and was not interested in marrying or starting a family with him. She felt suffocated by his possessiveness and jealousy and wanted the relationship to end. On the morning of May 10, 2020, which happened to be Mother's Day, Kimberly went for a jog with Rafael and a group of friends. After the run, she texted her mother to wish her a happy birthday and posted a photo of them together on her Instagram account. Later in the day, Kimberly planned to spend time with a friend and discuss her issues with Rafael. Around 7:30 p.m., she decided to finally break up with him and asked her uncle not to lock the door. However, her uncle received a call the next morning from Kimberly's friend, who was concerned because she had not been able to reach Kimberly and had not seen her since the previous evening when she had planned to end her relationship with Rafael. Kimberly's mother, Nayla, was also worried because she was unable to reach her daughter, as the two of them usually called each other every day. The police found traces of blood in the apartment and discovered Kimberly's body, almost naked and stabbed repeatedly in the neck and abdomen. There were signs that the scene had been cleaned up and the air conditioning had been turned up to the maximum to slow down the decomposition of the body. Rafael was nowhere to be found, but but surveillance footage showed him leaving the apartment alone around 1:30 a.m. Family and friends were shocked by the discovery, and the news of the murder spread quickly on social media and in the media. The authorities opened a special line to collect information, and the police suspected that Rafael was trying to leave the country. 2 days after the body was discovered, the police learned that Rafael had crossed the border into the state of Maranhão and had indicated that he was going on a tourist trip, returning on May 26th. The following day, his car was found abandoned on the side of the road, with camera footage showing him driving it away. Rafael was driving very quickly under pressure when he lost control of his car and got into an accident. The surveillance cameras captured the accident, and the police used the license plate to quickly identify Rafael and interrogate him. He revealed that he had been picked up by a truck driver on the edge of the road and taken to the municipality of Caracarai. A report of his escape went out across the country, and many policemen were searching for him. He was traced to a small border town with Venezuela, where he had tried to cross the border but was denied due to COVID restrictions. An anonymous caller informed the police that a Brazilian was hiding in the forest, and a team of police went to search for him. They were attacked by a gang of young people and had to call for the intervention of the military police. With their help, Rafael was finally arrested on May 15, 2020. Rafael confessed to killing his girlfriend, Kimberly, because she was talking to another man on social media. He had forbidden her from speaking to other men and was angry when he found out that she had lied to him. He waited for her to come out of the shower and then stabbed her violently 3 times, 2 blows to the neck and 1 to the chest. He panicked and tried to clean up the blood and dress her in the bathroom, but the blood and water mixture was everywhere. He realized that he could not leave his apartment with the body without being noticed, so he dragged it back into the bathroom. 2 other young Venezuelans, ages 17 and 24, who were members of the gang that attacked the cops, were apprehended shortly after. Rafael was charged with femicide and placed in pretrial detention after confessing to Kimberly's murder. His lawyers argued that he suffered from mental disorders and requested a psychiatric assessment, but the expert found that he did not have any mental disorders and was fit to stand trial. The lawyers also requested that the crime be considered a crime of passion, but the judge denied this request. The trial began on October 27, 2021, with Rafael repeating his confession to the murder and stating that he killed Kimberly because of her lies. The prosecutor argued that Rafael was a jealous and controlling man who was obsessed with Kimberly and killed her because he could not accept the breakup. On October 28, 2021, Rafael was sentenced to 14 years in prison for Kimberly's murder. The tragedy had many repercussions. Rafael's father, who was distraught over his son's crime, committed suicide by throwing himself on the subway tracks. Kimberly's mother, who was already suffering from breast cancer, was diagnosed with leukemia soon after the trial and ultimately passed away. Kimberly's brother, William, applied for compensation against Rafael, asking for 70,000 Brazilian reals, about 12,800 euros. Rafael is currently serving his sentence in prison and is expected to be released in 2035. This tragedy highlights the dangers of relationships with jealous and possessive partners, especially in the wake of a breakup. This was the tragic story of a Brazilian beauty queen who was murdered by her jealous ex-boyfriend. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to follow for more crime stories.